HG lifestyle. It's a mindset. Make sure you adopt it, baby. What's going on, everybody? Welcome once again to the HG Lifestyle Show. As always, you already know who it is. It's your boy Johnny B. And this time I am joined by the co-host, Mr. Matty Leverage. Say what up, Matty Leverage?
Check. How we all doing out there?
Yeah, Matty Leverage in the house, man. He's blessing us with his presence today. It's been difficult to get us both in the same room. So, first of all, to those of you who messaged me asking me why we're slacking, I do apologize. We're doing our best to get more consistent with it. It's just been difficult because between me and Matt, we're trying to run multiple businesses together. So he's out of town or I'm out of town, but no excuses. We're going to do it moving forward. So today, I wanted to just talk about something real quick, man, because I'm sure over the last few days, you guys have been seeing posts all over social media. Oh, new year, new me. This is my year. This is the year I take over. Big things happening. But, the truth of the matter is, man, is it's all bullshit, right? How many times have those people, if you go back to last year, you'll see them say the same shit, but nothing ever fucking changes. So I wanted to just talk a little bit about that real quick because it just seems to be like the popular thing to do, right? Hey, it's a new year, new me, but what the fuck are you actually doing about it? Right? So that's the point of this episode today, because you gotta eventually do something with it and quit telling yourself that this is your year. This is the year that things change for you, but yet you do nothing. So if you're hoping that 2022 is gonna be better than 2021 just because you're saying it, you're fucking tripping. You gotta have a game plan behind it, and you gotta stay committed to that game plan. Right, stick with it, because the problem is maybe the first week you're motivated, you're doing it, but sometimes the thought of, let's say your goal was to lose 50 pounds, and, the thought of just getting there just seems so overwhelming because it's not going to happen overnight, so you end up quitting or giving up. But here's the thing, guys, the time, it's going to pass regardless, whether you do it or not. So giving up because the time, how long it takes to get there, overwhelms you, is just a bullshit move, because the time's going to pass you regardless. So you got to do it. So the reason I wanted to talk about this is because there's certain things that you could do, Matt. For example, what are some of the things that you do to try to keep you motivated, man? Because I know it isn't easy. I'm not saying it's easy.
Well, motivation. That word's powerful, because I think everyone that's out there listening right now, we all at different times know how powerful or how needed it is to stay motivated. It's a lot of times me and John are constantly self-development. We're going to these shows, and I've spoke on it before, but that motivation after a couple days of leaving that event, you lose a lot of that momentum because you don't have the same type of individuals around you. So when I think of motivation now compared to where I used to think, rah, like almost like getting ready for a football game. Guys get all huddled up, and the coach gets them all, we're going to win this. This is our year. And I think there's something to be said for that type of motivation. I think that's when most people correlate motivation, they're thinking about that kind of environment, that kind of messaging.
Right.
And the motivation that I think that me and you have both kind of put our heads down and got to the grindstone about is really about implementation of what's being said in a motivational speech, right? So auditing your time, it comes to mind, auditing your day, because like you said just a minute ago, John, we have the same amount of time, so the time's going to pass you regardless of whether you make a change or you go execute on going to the gym or you put those extra hours in on your side hustle so you can quit that day job. So when I think of motivation nowadays, it's about implementing on that motivation and really kind of writing those things down. Whether it's, some people have to write it down visually. I'm a very visual learner, so if I see something every day and I'm passing it by in the hallway, like it's constantly getting, I'm being reminded of that. So what motivation really does is it kind of gives you that extra fire under your ass to go out there and remind you of, hey, you committed to this. This was your goal. This is what you wrote down.
Right.
And I think so. That's really when I think of being motivated. Those are the things that come to mind. So, but I think to take a step back, you first have to audit where your time is being spent. Because you can be motivated all you want and just be spinning your wheels. You could think you're gonna work out 24 hours a day and you're gonna get skinny overnight. That's not how it works. It's right. about showing up consistently.
Right.
When it comes to motivation. So for people that are first of the year, you're setting those New Year's resolutions. Motivation is going to need to be continually kept, and I think the best way to do that is implementing not only a game plan and goals that can be achieved, but also implementing the 5 people that you keep around you in that circle. Because if you have people around you being negative, I hate to say it, they're going to bring you down. And you could be the most motivated people out of those 5 people you hang out with on an average daily basis. But if you don't have people around you that are also looking to motivate, if you have to stay motivated, you probably don't really want it that bad, okay? So that's what people need to understand. A lot of people think by being motivated, they're going to accomplish so many things in their life. You need to be motivated about something that you feel passionately about, that regardless of you, if you took away the paycheck out of doing what you do that you love, would you still do it? That's a question you need to ask yourself. And that is true, authentic, genuine, pure motivation to the level where if you have that type of motivation, it means Steve Jobs talks about when he was building his company, they would work day and night. They were around the clock. They weren't getting paid. They just knew that the information they were going to bring to their audience was going to revolutionize history and revolutionize the world. So that passion came across in their work ethic by staying motivated. So take away that paycheck that you're doing on a daily basis. Look around, and what I mean by audit is, what are you being paid for? Would you continue to be doing that? Would you show up to your job if you weren't getting paid? Probably not. 90% of people are going to probably say no there. So finding that motivation is really finding your passion and bridging the gap.
Yeah. Which, look, it isn't easy, man, because I still, to be honest with you guys, I still don't know. Like, if you were to ask me what's my passion, I don't know how to answer that question. So it's really about what makes me happy, and what makes me happy is taking care of the people around me, taking care of my loved ones, providing for them, giving them a good life. So to me, really, what it comes down to, man, is I see the same fucking people every year talking about this is my year, but you don't see them change. You don't see them evolve, right? And so that's the problem. First of all, if you want to change, you got to change yourself first. It's not just going to magically change because you said this is my year. You have to change yourself. And in reality, how you stay motivated is by getting results. But the only way you're going to get results is to stay consistent. But it's hard to stay consistent because, again, the thought of how long it takes is like, and the reason I say that, guys, is because I actually talked to somebody at the gym the other day, and they're like, they were telling me how, they really want this new body and they want to have better sex with their wife. Like, this is literally what he's telling me. And he's like, oh, but fuck, man, it takes so long to get there. And my response to him was, bro, he's like, because he said, 90 to 120 days is what my trainer's telling me. Look, those 90 to 120 fucking days are going to pass you regardless, motherfucker. That time is going to pass no matter what. So you might as well do something about it so that in 90 to 120 days, you're a new fucking person. Because when you stay consistent with it and you're continuously doing it, you just feel good, man. And you don't always feel good. I have bad fucking days. And matter of fact, I have a lot of bad days. But what happens when I have those bad days, I remind myself, man, you're a bad motherfucker because you're doing things that most people won't fucking do. When I'm at the gym and I'm fucking lifting those heavy fucking weights, right? That's just not comfortable. And sure, I do it to look good, but more than to look good, I do it to feel good because I feel powerful. I feel like, man, you know what? There's billions of people on this planet Earth, and most of them are laying in bed right now. So that alone already gives me a leg up against them, right? I know I'm already ahead of the game there. So I guess what I'm saying, man, is you got to be willing to do it. Just do it. Just fucking do it. It sounds silly. It sounds stupid, but it's because there's no magic formula to it. There really isn't. There's no magic key or there's no magic pill that you're going to take that's going to just like that change it for you. You got to change it, and you got to continue to do it. Just do it. And it doesn't have to be New Year for you to set a goal. It doesn't have to be a new year for you to decide you want something better in life. So, quit doing that to yourself as well. But since it is the new year, take advantage of it. And, really, what are you going to do different? So, me, for example, I don't have a whole lot of New Year's resolutions because I already know what I want. And I tell myself all the time what I want. And I have those goals. So to me, like when people ask me, what's your New Year's resolution? Well, I don't really have one because I know what I'm going after and I've known. But I did make the commitment that I'm fucking cutting people out of my life that don't benefit me, man. Because this 2021 was a rough year in the fact that, look, I took a lot of major hits, a lot of financial hits, but it's because I trusted the wrong fucking people. And it's not that I trusted the wrong people, it's that I'm the type of person, man, that if I'm on the come up, I want to take everybody around me. I want to take them with me. The problem is if they don't want to come with me, I'm having to drag them. Mm-hmm. And by dragging them, I lose fucking energy, right? As opposed to, hey, just come jog with me. But if I got to carry your ass, I lose energy. Right? And a lot of people took advantage of me this year, man. I can't tell you how much money people stole from me or just, it was definitely a year for me that I learned a lot of lessons. And those lessons are, man, look, if you don't want it for yourself, fuck you, man. Don't ask me for fucking help. If you want it for yourself, though, then yeah, man, keep up with me and I'll help you out. But don't make me fucking drag your ass. But what are some of the things, Matty Leverage, that you're committed to changing this year, man? And what is your plan of action to do that? Let's give some people some tricks, man. What keeps you in the game when things get rough?
I mean, I think instantly what comes to mind is that why factor, right? Why are you doing what you're doing, right? Why are you putting yourself through hell? Why are you getting up early? You know, why are you working those late hours? If it comes down to that, why are you putting in that extra effort? Why are you even looking at, New Year's resolutions in the first place? What is a resolution? You know what I mean? What are you trying to resolve, right? Mm-hmm. What's messed up that needs to be fixed, right? So I think getting to the source of the problem is figuring out why you tick the certain way you tick. We've all talked about resolutions as, the beginning of the year. Why do you have to wait till the end of the year just to come up with an excuse to try doing it? So creating a why factor for me, why I do what I do. And I honestly, and I tell myself this all the time, when I wake up in the morning, there's like a certain thought that I have, and it's like, if not now, I tell myself, when? If not now, when? When is the right time? And I have to keep reminding myself that the time is always now. The time to start is today. And no matter how you cut it up, you're trying to get in shape tomorrow. Oh, I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do it at the weekend. Well, what's changing? It's now. And the problem is, and I think Kobe I saw one of his quotes. He said, the dream, he says, is in the journey, not the destination. That is the dream, is the journey. So when you're putting in that extra work, waking up early to get to the gym or get that side hustle done after work, that you're trying to eventually quit your job, spending time with family, even though maybe it's going against something that you might have a priority. Because we have, when we're giving somewhere, we're losing somewhere else. It's the opportunity cost, right? Yeah. So you only, like I said, we all have that same 24 hours in a day. And that's why, tools that are given to us in 2021, there's no excuse that an entrepreneur cannot be successful in 2021 with all the software developments, tech advancements. There's so much data and information. There's like we've talked about, there's almost too much data. It's almost distracting now with the amount of information you have. Sure. So if you don't want it, if COVID didn't bring something out of you, spark something that says, hey, the Great Awakening, they're calling this time, like you might not have it in you. I hate to say it, and maybe entrepreneurship isn't for you. But what you need to figure out with where you're at is, especially with resolution time, and that's what we're speaking about today, is like, if you do have it in you, a big part of how you're going to stay the course is the why factor. Right. You could be motivated month two, 3, 4, but are you going to stick with that diet? Are you going to stay working out every day like you promised yourself? Are you really going to put an extra 5 hours of reading in a week? Maybe the first couple weeks you do it, then you don't, right? So habits, consistency needs to be there. If you're going to create good habits for the year and get to your goals, it's consistency, right? At the end of the day, it's doing the same thing over and over and over again, getting 1% better. And that motivation is something that, just comes to people that have passion, basically. So we all look for motivation, inspiring mentorships, and getting that rah, rah, rah every day. But what are you doing when no one's around? Are you just as jazzed to get to do what you're doing? Or are you kind of like, well, if my trainer's not there, I'm not going to get to work, right? Like, if no one's watching, right? And I think you got to be just realistic with yourself and looking yourself in the mirror and stop lying, like you say, to yourself.
Yeah.
You said it all the time, John.
Yeah.
And I've taken note of something that, the sayings that you have, because I think it's, to our audience out there, stop lying to yourself.
Well, that's what it is.
Right?
Because and that's why it is, man. Because here's the thing, man. A lot of people try to say, okay, well, I'm not ready to start because I'm trying to figure out what got me here, or I'm trying to figure out what is the key or whatever. Look, I'm gonna give you a fucking secret right now, man. What got you here is you. You. It wasn't your girlfriend who cheated on you. It wasn't all the bad shit that happened to you. Yeah, that shit happened. Yeah, it fucking hurt. But the decisions, the choices that you made after that, that's what got you here. But guess what? The beauty of that is that it means you can get you out of it. So don't look at it as a bad thing. The fact that you got yourself there is not a bad thing, because it means you can get yourself out of it. Okay, and don't misunderstand what Matty Leverage is saying. Look, not everybody is meant to be an entrepreneur, but that's okay. Because at the end of the day, the point is to give yourself and your loved ones a better quality of life. You can do that as an entrepreneur, meaning whatever company you work for or work with, make yourself a fucking value. Because I promise you, most business owners think the way me and Matt do. And that is, if you are a valuable asset, I don't give a fuck how much money you cost me. I will give it to you. You need an extra $100,000 a year? Absolutely, if you're worth it. If you make my life easier, it's worth it. So what it is, guys, is you got to better yourself. Get better at your skills. What is it that you're doing right now? And if you're doing okay at it, then how do you get great at it? How do you make those decisions? How do you stay consistent with it? That's the key. And honestly, guys, like people ask me, like, dude, how do you do it? How do you stay consistent? Honestly, I don't know how I do it. I just do it. There really is nothing that I just fucking do. It's just that I do it, but I do it because I feel good when I get the results. And that's why I say the motivation is going to come when you see things happening. The motivation is going to naturally come. You're not going to need to go watch a Tony Robbins video to drive you to go do it once you start seeing results, because once you see results, that becomes the addiction. You want more of it. So that's why when people ask me, man, it's kind of frustrating because I don't know how to answer. I wish I could give you the blueprint. I wish I could tell you do this, and that, but I really don't know what I do. I really don't know how I do it. I just fucking do it. No excuses. Just what the fuck is so hard about getting up, getting in my car, driving to the gym, and lifting some heavy things a few times? Pa, 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 boom. An hour later, I'm done. That's it. An hour. Out of 24 hours in the day, it took me an hour. You know, most people think you got to be at the gym for 4, 5, 6 hours to, look. No, you don't. You just got to do it consistently. That's it, right? It's really not hard to do, right? It's not like back in the days where they had to ride a horse fucking for months to get to wherever they were getting to, man. Today we have cars. It takes 5-10 minutes to get to the fucking gym. So, I mean, I don't know, man, but you just got to, like Matt said, it is about a why, though, because a lot of times when things do get tough for me, man, when I do get stressed, I look at my kids and I think to myself, well, dude, if it's up to me to give them a better life. So it doesn't have to be some special why either, guys. What do you love? What do you hold dearest to your heart? And how do you support that? How do you take care of that? Right? Because sometimes that question can be tough, bro. What's your why? That's a tough question to answer sometimes. So really, for me, it's just about providing a good quality of life for the ones around me, man, the people that I love. And that alone is enough for me, man, because I would not stand the fact that my kids looking up to me and asking me for food because they're hungry and not being able to provide that. Yeah. Fuck that. That's a horrible fucking feeling. Yeah. Yeah. So, but, that's just what it is, man. You just got to do it. You got to take the action one step at a time. It's not like you got to attack all of it all at once. And I don't know if you would agree, man, but I think that's the problem. I think when people think of, the things that they want, they think of all of it all at once, and it overwhelms them. Like, well, fuck, I got to go get an attorney. I got to go do this. I got to da-da-da-da-da-da. And all of a sudden you're overwhelmed. But if you attack it, just what's the first thing off the list? Yeah. Let's get it done. Right. Okay? Once you get it done, what's the next thing? And get it done. Because I agree, bro. Like when you and I talk about, the data, how we're going to acquire the customer, sometimes it can be overwhelming. But when we sit back and write it down, and this is the first step, this is the second, this is the third, all of a sudden it's fucking easy. Right? It's like when you buy one of those fucking sets for your living room, you open the box and all you see is a bunch of pieces all over the place. Looking at it is overwhelming. But then you open the fucking instructions and it's like, oh, I just need to grab piece A and connect it to piece B and connect number 1 to number 2. And all of a sudden it's easy. But when you open the box, you're like, holy fuck.
Yeah. I mean, call that analysis paralysis in the business, right? And to make a point of what John was saying earlier, he says it gets easier because he's actually getting stronger. The work doesn't get any easier. He's just getting stronger because through that consistency. Right. So, and a big part of looking at businesses, looking at your life, and that's why I think the 5 F's is so powerful as well.
For sure, man.
I feel like that really encapsulates the 5 categories that most people out there believe in, and that's why we've been able to really capture those in those 5 F's. And to remind everyone out there what those are is faith, family, fitness, finance, which ultimately leads to freedom. So those are the 5 things that we encompass here at HD Lifestyle Show, and we want to bring to you guys as the audience because we find that those are the categories that is our Y factor.
It is, right.
That's the reason why we get up in the morning, because we want to be financially, we want to be successful, we want to be involved in our family life, we want to have our health, obviously, and all these things, and we have our faith in ourselves and that belief system, and those all route to ultimately freedom. So, our Y factor is the 5 F's when it comes down to it. Those are the things that matter in our life, and that's what keeps us moving forward and that betterment. So, when you at the beginning of the year, this is 2022. Everyone's looking around. What's going to happen this year? What's going to be different? I think what you need to do is just audit everything in those 5 F categories. Right. Figuring out what needs, what things are necessary, prioritize that list, and what things are unnecessary, cutting off those loose ends. Not everybody can come along for the ride. Not everybody can, man. At the end of the day, you want to keep everyone around, like you said, high school friends, people that you've laughed with probably a million times, but they might, like you said, you're dragging them. They're dead weight on that circle, and you can only encourage someone so many times to come to the gym with you, and they're complaining about their weight before you're like, man, like I'm not a babysitter here.
I'm not.
You know what I mean?
Right.
You tell your kids to do something so many times, before you know it, you're giving them a little slap on the butt. Like, hey, I told you too many times, give me too many warnings.
Too many warnings.
You know what I mean? Hey, you're gonna touch that stove, you're eventually gonna get burned. You're gonna put your finger in that socket, you're gonna get shot. Sometimes they need to touch it for themselves, right?
Yeah.
And we've both experienced addiction. We had plenty of people telling us to get sober, I'm sure, or that we knew we needed to get sober, but you actually have to hit rock bottom in order to make that change, right? So 2022, audit your 5 F categories. That's what I would encourage everyone out there listening to do, and figure out in your family category who you consider family, who you think is necessary to keep around you, in those in the 5 people that are going to impact you the most. Faith, category, faith in yourself, faith in the process. You need to have, first of all, I talk to myself. I know people out there do this. Man. I actually use that as a secret weapon. I talk to myself, and like sometimes I'm like, dude, stop being a bitch. You know what I mean? Or dude, like, you need to make this happen. Like, you need to stop doubting your skill set. You can compete with these guys. And sometimes you need to be your own fucking motivation. Let's be honest here. So audit yourself. Fitness, get your ass to the gym, dude. I mean, if you can't do it every day, do it every other day. Come up with a schedule. Doesn't, like John said, you don't need to be there all day. Just get an hour out of the day. You know what I mean? You spend an hour a day probably picking your nose. You know what I mean? Like, come on, like let's figure this out. It's an hour a day. You know what I mean? And then finances. Hey, if you're working a day job and you're saying, I have any time, Matt, I'm just work to the bone. Like, man, then like there's 20. We all have the same 24 hours. There's softwares. There's things in place. You can get a virtual assistant. I mean, there's plenty of tools out there. There's no excuses why you can't put an extra 3-4 hours a day into your side hustle, or put a person in place to be making those, whatever it is you need done in your business, right? Whether it's getting your name out there, building your social media account, whether it's creating a process for your business, whatever that 1 through 10 list is, you need to either do it yourself, create a time where you can put that time aside. So it's an audit of that.
Right.
And then ultimately, like I said, we're trying to get to that freedom bracket. And that freedom is for everyone that's listening today. We're all, me and John are putting this whole show together to bring you to that freedom bracket, because we all want to enjoy what life's freedom has to offer. And that's freedom to do what we want, when we want, on our own terms, with whom we want. So if people are after freedom listening today, you're in the right place. We're going to only try to bring you the biggest value we can to ultimately get you to that freedom bracket. So to take it from the top, resolution-wise, create a Y factor and audit your 5 Fs. That would be my, one and done elevator pitch right there.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, look, at the end of the day, it's not hard, right? And I don't mean that insensitively. Like, I'm not saying it's not hard, but I guess what I am saying is you already know what doesn't work. Right? Whatever the fuck you did last year obviously didn't work. So you got to do something different, right? But I think the biggest piece of advice, man, that I can give anybody out there is just to be honest with yourself, man. Like Matt said, Matt says I say this a lot because I do. Quit lying to your fucking self, man. This is something that changed my life, because for the longest time, if my relationships weren't good, it was her fault.
Right. Blame game.
If something went wrong, it was their fault. It wasn't until I really sat back and realized, holy shit, you know what? Maybe it is me. Because I'm the common denominator in all these relationships, right? It's me. So maybe it is me. And when I start being honest with myself and I realize the things where I'm lacking, the places where I'm weak at, and I started focusing on getting stronger in those areas, having better relationships, like, look, at that point, it does get easier. It'll never be easy. You'll always have stress. You'll always feel like, holy shit. You'll have those angry moments. That's just a fucking part of life. That's normal shit. But at the end of the day, it's knowing that you're doing something, that you're headed towards a destination. That makes it easier for me. Like when I take those big financial hits, does it fucking hurt? Does it stress me the fuck out? Hell yeah. But what keeps me going is knowing what's on the other side once I get there. And I know I'm going to get there. Whether it's 6 months, a year, 2 years, it doesn't fucking matter, because I know that I'm going to get there. And that's what keeps driving me. I know that the destination is almost there. And it's because of that story of 3 feet from gold that I heard that changed my life, man, about this guy who bought this property because he was told, legends had it, that there was millions of dollars worth of gold buried there. Well, this guy dug and dug for 20 years, never found the gold, finally gave up and sold the property at a loss. The next buyer starts digging the next day and within 5 minutes finds the gold. That story hit me, bro, and I'm like, oh my God, I'd be so pissed, bro.
Right.
I dug for 20 years and decided to give up, and I was 3 feet away.
Yeah.
What up? And so that always keeps me going, because I always, in the back of my mind, I'm like, yo, what if I'm almost there, bro? Yeah. What if I'm almost there and I quit? Oh, hell no, I'm not going to like that feeling, so I'm going to keep going. So, find what it is that you want to do. But at the end of the day, look at what did you do last year? Because it didn't work, right? And for some of you, it did work. And for those of you that did work and you're killing it, now you got to keep it, okay? It's not over yet. Once you make that first million, that 2 million, whatever it is, man, you got to keep it going. In fact, I would argue that that's the most dangerous position you could be in, is comfortable.
Right.
Because I've been there, where I got comfortable, where the money was coming in. I took my foot off the gas. I wasn't paying attention to my accounts. And that's why I allowed people to steal from me in 2021. I'm not going to blame it on them. Yeah, they're pieces of shit. But all they did was ruin a good relationship with me, because I'm the type of guy that would have taken them with me anywhere. But at the end of the day, I looked at it, it's my fault. That happened because I got comfortable. I took my eye off the prize, right? So being comfortable is dangerous, guys. So keep at it no matter what. Keep it going, no matter where you're at in your life. But for those of you who didn't have the year you wanted in 2021, well, you know why, right? You know the things you did. You know those things didn't work. Or maybe you just didn't do anything at all. So when people sit there and they're like, well, I just don't know what direction to go in any direction. Any direction is better than no direction. And then once you realize that maybe that was the wrong way to go, then turn around and try the next direction. And if you realize that was the wrong one, turn around and try again. But to just stand still because you don't know what direction to take, it's just a bullshit excuse, right? And I recently had a conversation with somebody. In fact, it was on New Year's Eve. They get drunk, and I personally don't drink anymore. That's just personal reasons. But, this person was drinking and they're sitting there asking me like, oh, what to do about my life? Just whining, bro. And that shit, dude, like, and I straight up told this person, look, if you're going to ask me, then you better be prepared because I'm going to be honest as fuck with you. And, and I let them have it, bro. I just told them their truth because everybody knows what their issue is. They know what their issue is. The problem is they're trying to sit there and, well, feel sorry for me. This happened to me. But at the end of the day, you control your destination, man. You really do. Whether you're in an abusive relationship and the dude's beating your ass every fucking day, I'm not saying it's easy to get away from it, but you can make the decisions to get away from it. It may be tough. It may be, you may get your ass beat a few more times. You risk the chance of him coming after you. But at the end of the day, it is all about choices.
Yep.
It really is. It's about the choices that you make. What are you doing? Are you doing anything at all? So you just got to do it, man. Quit lying to yourself. Quit telling yourself that this is the year that it's going to magically happen, because that word right there, magical, a lot of things are magical, yes, but they're not just going to happen for you because you wished for them. And I think that's the, Tato introduced me many years ago to the law of attraction, the secret. But I think people misunderstand that, bro. I think the key word in the law of attraction is after the attraction. It's the action part of it. You can't just sit there and wish for $1 million and sit on your ass and it's going to come to you, right? Yeah, you got to speak it into existence, but you also got to take the action when you notice the opportunities, right? And today we live in a world where opportunity is everywhere. In fact, me and Matt finally had a meeting last week because we have too many opportunities. We have too many. So me and Matt decided, okay, we need to sit down and figure out which ones we're going to focus on, because there's too many opportunities out there. We live in the most amazing fucking country where you can make something happen if you want it. So make it happen, guys. Any final words for the peeps out there, man?
POUR stands for passing over opportunities regularly. And I got that one from Jeff Seckinger. I think it's a great saying for people out there that might not have their finances in order. Think about all the opportunities you've passed over, and that's how you got there. Because like John said, you can only blame yourself for where you're at right now. The key is taking responsibility. Stop playing the blame game, manning up, and getting your shit together in 2022. And that's this year right now. That's where we're at right now. All you can do is change from here forward. Past is going to be the past. So present is stay in the present. And ideally, you can predict what your future will do by making good choices. So, with that said, going into 2022, I hope everyone accomplishes their goals and their dreams. But a big part of that is what John just said with their action, implementing on what those things are, prioritize that list, and go and execute on that list. And that's going to be the major difference between being successful or just being a talker.
Yeah, well, you heard it here, guys. At the end of the day, we're just here to kind of tell you what our experiences are, and nothing more, nothing less, man. I'm not sitting here telling you that I'm the best at what I do. I'm definitely not, man, but I do know what I have done to get to where I am today. And luckily, I'm blessed enough to be in a position where many people would love to be here. And the thing is the reason why I'm so passionate about it, dude, is because I want to get people to understand, like, dude, there really isn't nothing special about me, bro. Like, in fact, a lot of you guys listening would probably beat me at a math test. You're most likely a better speller than I am. You're probably a better problem solver than I am. So that's where my passion comes from, because I truly fucking believe, like, holy shit, dude, anybody could do this, man. There's nothing special. It's just, honestly, I think the biggest thing that God blessed me with, man, is just the I don't give a fuck mentality, bro. Like, what's the worst that could happen type mentality, I truly believe that if I wake up every morning, I'm already winning.
Yep.
Because there's a lot of people who didn't wake up. So that alone allows me to not be afraid to take the risk, because if I get to wake up, it means I get to try again and again. But the key thing there is try, doing something, taking the action, not just saying I'll try tomorrow, because you may not get tomorrow, motherfucker, right? And you don't want to be that person, being told that you got 6 months to live, looking at your life like, man, what the fuck did I do, man? I wish I could go back, man, because those, should-haves, could-haves, would-haves, there's nothing more frustrating in the world than those words right there. Oh, God, I could have done this, man. I should have. Yeah, you should have. So guess what? You get to start now, baby. So there you have it, man. HG Lifestyle. It's a mindset, baby. Make sure you adopt it. We out.